Hi, everybody. It's Christina Quick, also known as the Tarot Biz Mentor, here from the Profitable Psychic Business Academy, where I help professional psychics, professional tarot readers, astrologers. I help you guys get more clients and make more money. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Let's see. Get this pin to the right place. We are on episode 4. And today we're going to be talking about something very important, which is why you cannot, as a legitimate business, compete with low price sellers and people who are doing this as a hobby. So when we talk in the group, we have a group on Facebook. It's called the Profitable Psychic Lounge, and it's a free Facebook group. Everybody's welcome to come in. That's where I actually do these trainings live on Monday. And so if you're interested in coming to the live trainings, that's where you can find us. It never fails. Probably. Hi, Lindsay. Hi, Betty. Never fails. Probably at least once a week. Someone's posting in the groups about how they're really discouraged with starting a business because they see like people on Facebook or people on Etsy selling readings for like $5, right? And so it never fails. There's always someone that's really disgruntled about that, and they really take it super personal, like, and I understand because I used to feel the same exact way, right? I used to feel like, how can I sit here and try to charge $100 for a tarot reading when there are people out there charging, $5 for a tarot reading? How am I supposed to compete with that? You know? And the truth is that we're actually not supposed to compete with that. That is a limiting belief, right? It's a limiting belief that because there are people out there charging what they're charging, that it's somehow a reflection on us that we can't charge what we want to charge or what we need to charge in order to hit certain income levels in our business, right? It's always really interesting when we have these conversations because I think it comes from that old paradigm, right? So back in episode 1, we were talking about embracing your own unique rhythm, being able to work within your energetic demands. And one of the key ways that we do that is we have to let go of that corporate mentality, right? And the corporate mentality is really like big box stores, right? It's like the reason why Walmart can charge such low prices is because they are a multi-billion dollar business, first of all, and they can purchase goods at below wholesale prices, and basically they make money on volume, right? So their profit margins is really small, but they make money because they sell by volume. So this is the kind of work culture, business culture that a lot of us come from, that it's about volume, right? It's about doing 20 readings a day for $5 and that's how you get your $100, right? Because we're coming from this culture of labor, right? Being paid for labor in order to make other people rich. And so when we come to start our own heart-centered business, we really have to examine how our ideas about business and how our ideas about sales are not really relevant anymore, especially if we're thinking about box stores that sell physical products at wholesale prices when we are, in fact, selling services. And we have to understand that selling services is very different from selling products, first of all, right? Second of all, we have to realize that we are the only one at the helm of this business. And most of us don't have $1 million sitting in the bank as startup capital, right? So we're sitting here thinking, okay, what do I need to do? Well, I need to compete with everybody else. You see on Etsy, you see $5 readings. And you're like, how can that person afford to charge that little? And something you have to understand is in this journey of becoming a professional tarot reader, then moving on to spiritual life coaching, then moving on to having an academy, right, where the business kind of starts paying you. You have a business model that starts paying you instead of just focusing on just selling your time, right, selling time for money. There are people at all stages of this business. There are new tarot readers and new psychics coming in every day, right? And they're beginners, they're hobbyists, they're just doing this for fun. They have people have their own reasons for selling things at such cheap prices. Just like people have reasons for selling things at higher, more premium, luxurious prices, right? And all of those reasons are valid. So, first and foremost, the people that are selling at low prices, they are not our enemy, right? They are not our competition. They just have different reasons for doing what they're doing. For some people, this is just a hobby. I remember back in 2009, I had a full time job as a manager for three different salons, and well, same salon, but three different locations. And so I would sell readings on eBay for like $1 because it was just a hobby. It was just fun. I wasn't trying to build a business out of it. I was just trying to find a way to kind of fulfill that aspect of my life and use my intuitive gifts and my intuitive abilities and just kind of test the water. So when people are starting out at these super, super low prices, like $1 for a reading or $5 for a reading, or even $10, anything under $25 is really what I would consider to be cheap or low priced, right? You, as someone who's been reading 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, you are not at the same level as that person who's reading for $1 or $5. Now, that's not to say that people who read for cheap are not good readers. That's not to say that they're not skilled, right? But their reasons for doing this is different. And so we as legitimate business owners and people who want to turn a profit doing this and build an empire, we cannot look at those people as our competition because they're not our competition, right? Kind of an interesting way to think about it. When you think about the buying motivations of people, there are ranges of reasons why people buy at certain price levels. But the people that buy at certain price levels, at certain price increments, that is probably how only 10% of the whole buying community actually works, right? So not only are these people not our competition, but in every sense of the meaning, they are also appealing to a very, very, very tiny demographic, right? And it's hard to know how big the world is, especially online. It's limitless. You have an unlimited potential of earning income online. It's an international based business. There is no shortage of clients out there, right? Hi guys, good to see you. Good morning. So when people talk to me, about how am I the person, and that's where the imposter syndrome really comes in, but it's misplaced. It's super misplaced. How can I come into this market charging $100 for a tarot reading when there's people out there that are doing it for $5? Well, there's a couple different things that you need to understand. First off, the quality and the experience, it counts for something. So let's just set aside people that are just doing this for fun or as a hobby. If it's not a legitimate business, meaning they're not trying to like earn a full income from this, then we can just set that grouping of people aside because we're not going to really deal with them. They're just living their best life doing this for fun, right? Now, when we get to the community, the pool of people that are doing this as a legitimate profession and as a legitimate career, we really transcend that whole selling at a certain price point. Now, is that to say that there aren't certain price points that sell really well as opposed to other ones? That is true. That's called industry standards, right? The industry market standard. So there is wisdom in the fact that yes, there are certain price points that sell easier with less effort, with less copywriting, with less marketing budget than others. And that seems to be the $25 mark. If you kind of look at it as an entertainment value, if you look at yourself as a tarot reader that's an entertainer, meaning you're doing tarot readings and it's not altruistic, it's not very deep. You're not focusing on shadow work, you're not focusing on life purpose, you're not focusing on that. You're just focusing on prediction and fortune telling. Well, yeah, you're going to hit a wall. That's not to say that you can charge $100 if your predictions are really good or if you've got skin in the game for a long time and people come to trust your advice and, how you market yourself. That's one thing, but there is a certain value to like just doing predictions and fortune telling and what do they think about me and blah blah blah. People there's a wall there. I mean, people are only going to pay so much, right? And it's kind of equating to an entertainment experience. I kind of equate it to like maybe going and getting a haircut, or for $25, or going and getting dinner at Applebee's for $25, or some getting your nails done for $25, something like that. It's that level of people are not going to miss that $25, so they're easily going to spend that. Now, what do you have to do to make that jump from $25 tarot readings up to $100 tarot readings or spiritual life coaching sessions, right? Well, at that point, it becomes more about finding the demographic that's going to be interested in paying more. Not necessarily that you need to compete with other people's pricing, but that you need to figure out what is the demographic of the people that are willing to spend, eager, enthusiastic to spend $100 on a tarot reading. So what does that kind of look like? What is involved in that? What is the industry standard and what is the customer expectation of that? Well, it has to transcend basic prediction, doesn't it? It has to have some sort of emotional, spiritual, mental value to it that goes beyond just that instant gratification. So if you are a tarot reader or a psychic reader and you have run into a wall where you can't get people to spend over $25, $50 for a tarot reading, okay? This is where this shift is going to happen for you. And it's going to at first it's going to make you upset because I think we all have this like vision of what being a tarot reader really is and looks like. I mean, most of us who do this as a profession are very dedicated to this profession, right? We are taking classes, we're learning psychology, we are learning about mythology, we are learning about astrology, numerology, we're learning about Kabbalah, we're learning about all of these really high end skills that people at the 25 and under level, $25 and under level, just don't value. It's not of value to them, right? So at that point, the biggest mindset shift is to realize that you're more than just a tarot reader. You're more than just a psychic, right? Because culturally, society has this sort of expectation, what I call non magical people or magically curious people, right? They are attracted to the words tarot reader. They are attracted to the words psychic. Now, because there is a threshold wall of like what people are willing to pay for certain information, then we have to kind of step out of just being a tarot reader or just being a psychic. And that is terrifying for a lot of people to accept that, yes, they are actually a coach. And the way that if you are just a psychic or just a tarot reader. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with being just a tarot reader or just a psychic, but it takes a long time to get to that $100 or more mark because at that point, the truth is people just don't value it as much. So, what kind of psychic, what kind of tarot reader is someone who can command $100 plus readings? Well, they're people that are also advertising themselves as spiritual life coaches, spiritual mentors, right? So, when we start in the beginning, and we're doing this because we really want to help people. I mean, I think that as light workers, as psychics, tarot readers, that we all have this purpose within our heart in order to help people out of their own darkness. And a lot of it is because we've been through our own darkness before, and we've been able to kind of pull ourselves out of that. And so we realize that we don't have to be in pain all the time. And so we want to help people get out of their pain, right? And in the beginning, when you're an empath, you go through these codependency things where you're trying to get people out of pain at low and cheap prices because it's painful for you to see people in pain. So actually it's a self-fulfilling prophecy there that like, and realizing that, and that's a conversation for another day, but if you are still in that codependency mode as an empath where you're just trying to help people not be in pain because you can't stand people being in pain, it's because it's causing you pain and you haven't yet separated your identity, your pain from that person's pain, right? It's a codependency issue. So once we kind of work through that and we realize, oh, I still want to help people and it's okay to have this belief that you want to help people for low prices and you want to help people that really need it. For example, for me, Psychic Hotline School is kind of like my philanthropic part of my business where I'm helping people who don't have much money at all, right? And so I have these avenues within my business that I'm able to still help people that don't have the means or resources to necessarily get the help that they need. But it's not a part of my business that I'm putting a lot of energy and time into. Like I created a course, I have a group, that's it. That's about as much time and energy as I can put towards that. I'm not going to sit at my computer all day doing readings and coaching for $5. I can't afford to do that. My lifestyle can't afford to do that, right? I have taxes and bills. And I was just, this weekend, my garbage disposal went out, my shower broke, and last weekend, my washer broke. So I cannot afford to sit here as a business, as someone who needs to make a certain income to maintain my lifestyle or improve my lifestyle. I cannot sit here and do $5 tarot readings all day. I can't do it. I have to be able to be smart about how I make my money. So as much as I want to sit here and have the opportunity to help people for free all day, every day, because that's what my heart truly wants, I can't afford to do that. And you can't afford to do that either until your basic needs are taken care of, right? So in the beginning, it's this thought like, oh my gosh, we want to help people, but we don't want to charge too high prices, and we don't want to be stingy or greedy. We don't want to come across as being, spiritually like unethical or something like that. And that's, a whole other thing. You're not being unethical for charging high prices. You're being realistic. Look at the economy today. Look at the economy. Look at how much food costs. Look at how much gas costs. Look at how much all of this stuff costs. Where's the money going to come from? So it's like this tug of war with our heart and our brain, right? Like we want to help all these people, we want to do it at cheap prices, but we can't afford to do it. So what do we do? Well, we have to step into a role of becoming a spiritual life coach. We have to appeal to a demographic, a market base that is going to actually value $200 an hour sessions, right? It's not a tarot reader unless again, you've got lots of skin in the game, or you're good at presenting yourself a certain way, or you're a master at marketing at a certain wealthy type of demographic, or you live in a very wealthy neighborhood or something like that, right? Where you can, do that. But we're talking specifically about the online space because the online space is still, if you think about it, it's really still like the Wild West out here, right? The internet has only really been around for 30 years, give or take, maybe 25, where it's actually been, accessible to most people. Maybe only the last 20 where it's been in every household and things like that. So carrying these ideas from like real life over into the online space, it can be tricky. It can be very tricky. Most of us are very hesitant about stepping into that spiritual life coach role, and that's where the imposter syndrome really turns its ugly head. And you're thinking, why would anybody pay me to help them get their lives together? But here's the thing: if you genuinely want to help people, and you want to do it in a profound way, and you want to be able to pay your bills, it's not as a tarot reader or psychic, right? It's as a spiritual life coach or a spiritual mentor. There is this, like, you have to kind of shift into it more of a teaching and mentoring role, right? And that can be scary. It's very scary for a lot of people. But that is the path to profitability, right? Because here's kind of how it goes. When I created Lux Lightworker, which is my newest program, just finished that last year. So there are different stages that you kind of move through. There's stages, maybe a little bit more, but just six that I've identified so far. The first phase, you're really just focusing on getting your business started up. You're focusing on getting your new client offer. You're focused on niching. You're focused on figuring out, uh, what your niche is, what your demographic is, what your client's pain points, blah, blah, blah. Casey says it's actually kind of a relief to make the transition. It is, because I think when we're trying to just be a tarot reader or just be a psychic, it feels very confined. And then the societal and cultural expectations and what people think of tarot readers, that's why we get those low vibe questions all day. What do they think about me? What are they feeling about me? That sort of thing. And I know that's not the questions you really want to answer. I know it isn't. And so, shifting into spiritual life coaching is really where all that magic is going to happen, and where you're going to feel more freedom, and where you're going to feel more creative and liberated to actually follow your true soul's purpose, right? So the six stages, and then the second one, you're niching, and then the third phase is about like setting up your semi passive and semi passive income things. So like creating a course, running a live group program, stepping outside of just doing like tarot readings or psychic readings, and doing something that's actually really transformational, right? Because all of us want to work with people to help them overcome their limiting beliefs, but we need more than just readings to do that. And it was really interesting because I was in the group this morning, and someone had asked about, what kind of readings that someone should get if they wanted to move through their business and money mindset blocks and things like that. And I was thinking to myself, readings are complementary to that, but that's readings are not a cure all, right? Psychic readings help us integrate information. They help us reconnect to that mystical, magical side of manifestation. They can also help remind us of certain things about ourselves that maybe we forgot. They can also help us open up to new avenues, what kind of, life purpose and life goal kind of stuff that we want to figure out. We can also connect to our spirit team. But in order to really heal someone, in order to really do that deep transformative work, it's not going to take place in just a reading, right? It's going to take place in readings plus coaching, going through shadow work, going through their limiting beliefs, talking about their traumas, right? Talking about how their instilled mindsets, beliefs, programs are influencing their decisions, right? It's more than just readings. Readings can only take you probably about 30 to 40% of the way. Other 60 to 70% of the way is going to be through coaching, right? And so if you're already kind of doing that, then you're already a coach. It's just up to you to kind of decide, do I really do am I ready to step into that role? Because when you step into that role, it's more about you than anything else. It's not about the money. It's not about anything else to do with that. It's about you taking responsibility for yourself and treating yourself better, right? Treating yourself better and becoming a role model for that in which you want to teach or coach in. And that is the hardest part. That's a self discipline issue. That's not a money issue. It's not a money mindset issue. It's not anything like that. It is a self-discipline thing. And most people don't like to hear that. So the next couple phases of business are where you start to then at that point start getting paid by, like, so for example, what would your normal day look like? Okay, so it's a normal business day and you have 5 readings to do, and so you're going to sit there and you're going to do those 5 readings. Okay, and so you're going to spend the next, I don't know, 8 hours doing those 5 readings. If you're typing them up, or maybe you're on the psychic hotlines, maybe you can make that even quicker. Maybe you could make that $300-400 in just a couple hours working on the psychic hotlines. Now, when you get into that kind of hustle and you're hustling like that every single day, it kind of becomes like the normal thing. And then you get tired, and then you get burnout, and then you get jaded, and you get resentful, and then you start realizing, oh my God, this is just a job like everything else, right? But when you start setting up courses, when you start running life group programs, when you start getting into group coaching, when you start setting up other different types of like passive income things like affiliate marketing, that sort of thing, what you're doing is you're expanding all the different avenues in which money can come to you. And so when you do that, you're not so reliant on just the day to day, like having to do this, these 5 different tarot readings or psychic readings. It becomes okay, you woke up and maybe you sold a $300 course overnight. So maybe you don't even have to do readings that day if you don't want to, right? And you get to a point where your business starts to pay you for your time so that your time is freed up, so that that way you can loop back around and start doing all of those philanthropic things that you want to do. So everybody's like, well, Christina, you only charge $15 for an Etsy psychic business consult. Yeah, because my business pays my time, so I can afford now to do that. Christina, you spend so much time in your free groups. You spend so much time giving us free content on YouTube. You spend so much time doing podcasts, creating ebooks, creating content, creating templates for us. And everybody's like, "And how do you have the time for that?" I have the time for that because my business pays me, my academy pays me through my course sales, through my life group programs that are now on demand, through my master classes, through my workshops, things of that nature, to where I don't have to hustle every day. That money's coming in overnight. So I get to spend my time however I want to spend my time. And if I want to spend my time answering questions for free in the group, or helping people with Etsy in our Etsy chat, or doing a weekly podcast, or putting together a free content series on YouTube for you guys, that's my prerogative because I have built up a successful, sustainable business that pays me. So then I can come back around and I can do those things that I want to do and help people that may not have the resources or the money in order to get the information they need to change their lives. Now, for you, maybe you're not a business coach, but maybe you are an energy healer, or maybe you're an astrologer, and maybe in your heart of hearts, what you really want to do is you want to write an ebook, or you want to write, or you want to do a series for your YouTube, but like you don't have the time. Well, you have to do some things that you don't necessarily want to do in order to get to the point where your business is paying you. $400 for 2 hours work on the psychic hotline. Oh yeah, it's possible for sure. Is it something that is going to happen for everybody on their very first day? No. That's more like after you've spent a year and you have a consistent schedule and you've built up a level of regulars, and you specialize in love and relationships, and you specialize in predictions, fortune telling, and timelines. That's how you get $400 in 2 hours on the psychic hotlines. Okay. So yeah, it's completely possible. Is that realistic for everybody on their very first day? No. And your very first day, you're probably going to make like 20 or $40, but then you'll continually make more, right? And so that's why I love the psychic hotlines too, because it maybe it's not the work that we all want to be doing, but it's the work that's going to get us the capital so that we can spend our time doing what we actually want to do, right? So to recap today, when you think about pricing yourself, when you think about everybody else out there who's only charging $5 or $25 for a tarot reading, That's you can't afford that, right? And you have to kind of like turn your blinders on where you stop looking at that kind of stuff. Again, self-discipline. And until you start selling readings at a higher price, it's going to feel impossible. It's going to feel like you can never do it or like you can't figure it out or something like that. But let me tell you, in my opinion, it's easier to sell something for $100 than it is to sell something for $25. Why? Because the type of people that the demographic that I appeal to thinks $25 is too cheap. They don't value it. They think it's too, they're not going to get enough value out of it. Right. So it's all about how you convey your value, what kind of skills you're utilizing, how you are explaining how your skills and your talents, your intuitive gifts, psychic abilities can help people change their lives. And then you have to step out of that fortune teller, eight ball, penny psychic. You have to step out of that, right? And that's probably the scariest part. Does anybody have any questions today before I leave you guys off? This week, I really want you guys to reconsider your pricing. Now, if you're Etsy, if you, the only way that you sell is through Etsy, yeah, you're gonna struggle to sell anything over $25 on, because if you're not doing your own marketing to get people to your Etsy shop, then you're just relying on Etsy demographic. And Etsy demographic is the $25 entertainment fortune teller kind of thing. There are some people on there that do want coaching and things like that, but that's not to say that you're just going to set up a shop and just start charging $200 for a coaching session out the gate, and then people are going to be clamoring to hire you. It doesn't work like that. The higher the price goes, the more you need to focus on your copywriting, the more you need to focus on niching, the more that you need to focus on understanding your demographic, understanding the buying motivations and buying intentions of why people purchase certain things. People don't purchase coaching. They don't purchase tarot readings. Well, sometimes they do, but they purchase information, right? So just think about that. They purchase processes, they purchase guidance, they purchase mentorship, they purchase being able to talk to someone experienced about what they're kind of going through. So when you are sitting there creating your offers and you're writing your copy, think about all those things and put it into your copy, right? Just a little bit of a different burden, you know, when you're trying to make that shift from 25 to $100 plus readings or $200 an hour. There's a process to it. So I just want to let you guys know too that Lux Lightworker is on sale. Today is the last day. So I have it at 333. I do have payment plans available. I have Klarna, I have Afterpay, I have Affirm, I have also PayPal credit. So if PayPal credit is available in your area, you can take that 333 and divide it by 6 equal payments and do it through there. But this is that course that walks you through those 6 stages, those 6 phases of business. So like every time you start to bottleneck in your business where you can't seem to make more money or you can't seem to find more time. We talked about that last week, the paradox of time and money, you know? So if you find yourself in those positions where you can't figure out how to get more money or more time, Lux Lightworker, that's what you need. Best psychic hotlines for UK citizens, please. I would actually recommend that you do not work on the UK hotlines because they don't pay anything. I mean, you're going to maybe make $10, $15 an hour. It's nothing. What you really want to do is you want to get, first of all, you want to get over into my psychic hotline group. It's called Psychic Hotline School. Okay, so look that up. There's a directory that you can download. The directory is going to have all of the psychic hotlines that have been vetted by me and the members of the group, right? Yeah, they do. They pay crap. So you want to get on some different hotlines. And so some of the ones that I like and recommend right now are Everclear, Keen, um, Purple Ocean, Bitline. What's another good one? Psychic Source is okay, but they have a non-compete clause. Psychic Source is all right, but they have a non-compete clause. I would rather you guys work for psychic hotlines that don't make you like They don't like make you work exclusively for them. Yeah. So even if you are a UK citizen, you can still work for these other hotlines. You don't have to work for UK. You don't have to work for UK companies. So get into the group Psychic Hotline School, and then there is a directory PDF that you can download. If you need help finding it, let me know. I can tag you in it. Just message me personally. Yeah, Psychic Source has low pay, but they are consistent. So like you're going to be on the phone constantly on Psychic Source. So it's low pay, but it's busy. So sometimes you kind of have to, you know, you kind of have to make some sacrifices. And then from there in Psychic Hotline School, there is also a second directory, which is a peer-to-peer review area where we have all of the psychic hotlines listed. And this is all free, by the way. This does not cost any money to get in. So you can come in Psychic Hotline School. You can download their directory. You can get on all of those. You can apply to all of that. You can read through the peer-to-peer reviews. And so what we do is we have it to where like one post will have the name of the psychic hotline, and then everybody is welcome to post their thoughts, opinions, the pros, the cons of working on a website like that. So that's where you will have like information about how busy a psychic hotline is, if there's any issues with payouts and stuff like that. Like right now, Keen is dealing with some payout issues. And so the group is just a good resource. The Psychic Hotline School is just a great resource just to have to keep up to date about the psychic hotline goings on and stuff like that. And then if you want to, and here's what I usually recommend is I have a course for it, and it's I think it's around $100 or so, and there's like 25 plus videos in there. But it's like a boot camp for psychic hotline. You know, talking about like how to advertise yourself and how to raise your prices and how to talk to people and things like that, right? And so you can purchase that. But what I recommend is that you try to get on as many psychic hotlines as you can at first. Just get whatever jobs that you can at first, start making some money, and then get your applications in for the lines that you really want to work on. And then once you start making like say $100 a week, then invest in the course because then it's going to help. It's going to pay for itself. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, psychic hotlines are a great opportunity to kind of make money in a really quick way. That's the best get rich quick thing that I can offer you guys. People ask me all the time, how do I start making money right now? Psychic hotlines. That's it. Everything else is going to require effort. Everything else is going to require learning. And if you want to run your business away from the psychic hotlines, then Lux Lightworker is where that's at because that's going to take you through that entire process from shifting out of $25 tarot readings, getting into your passive and semi-passive income, setting up your academy, condensing your offers down, creating your new client offer. It talks about how to start getting speaking gigs booked, how to start doing public speaking. Has templates and scripts and things of all that nature for that sort of thing. So yeah, it just kind of depends on where you're at and how quickly you need capital and how much time you have available, right? Has anyone tried those platforms for managing a lot of your business like Kartra, Passion? So the ones that I use primarily are Thinkific. Thinkific is my main platform. It's where I host all of my like courses, membership options. It's where I do a lot of my sales pages at and like my buy now stuff, right? And then I use also MailChimp, which is for email communications and managing your list and sending out promos and things like that. I use things like Hootsuite and Post Planner to schedule social media in advance. That stuff is those schedulers are not as necessary anymore. And in fact, I canceled a lot of them that I had because now you can do that through Meta Business, the Meta Business Business Suite. You can do all that scheduling in there for free at no cost. What else do I use? I also use StreamYard, and that's for like managing live streams and branding and things like that. And I also use Canva. I would say those are my 5 ones that I use. And actually, if you go back and listen to previous episodes, yeah, so yeah, and then there's things like Infusionsoft and things like ClickFunnels, Entreport, those big what I call big boss platforms where it kind of has a little bit of everything in there. And if you go back to the my so this is only the fourth episode. If you go back like last episode and the episode before that, I talk about why you don't need those things. Why you can bootstrap in the beginning until you're making at least probably 50K a year. You don't need to spend $200 on Kajabi every single month or something like that. Like I spend I would say my personal overhead just on like my subscriptions that I have, like Canva, Thinkific, Post Planner, all that kind of stuff. I've got it all under about 150, and that's really good. That's good for me. But some of you are like, I can't afford 150. So go back a previous episode and listen to that, and I talk about different ways you can kind of Mod Podge things together and what I call bootstrap your business. I'll look into that. Attract Well. I will definitely look into that. I'm really interested. And I'm always interested in new platforms and seeing what's coming out because it only gets better, you know. Very nice. Snip feed. Okay. I will definitely check into those. Thanks for the recommendations. And it just kind of depends. Like, do you want to run a school? Do you want to, invest more into like funnels and ads, and things like that? It's like, what do you want it to do ultimately? What kind of bells and whistles? Yeah, that's nice. And then Thinkific. Thinkific also has white label, and Thinkific also has Zoom meetings that they just integrated as well. I saw that. So I'm really yeah, Thinkific also has an app. Why not just get a premium rate number and own a website? That's a great question. And the reason is because I don't want to manage a website. I don't want to have to do the updates. I don't want to have to fix things that are broken. I don't want to have to worry about uptime, right? So when I go through Thinkific, I don't have to manage WordPress. I don't have to worry about plugins not working. I don't have to worry about writing my own CSS and HTML. I don't have to worry about, making sure that my hosting is up to date. I don't have to worry about SSLs breaking my website. These are all things that really infuriated me when I had my own website. And at the end of the day, what I realized, it was more expensive to have my own website because then you're paying for premium plugins or apps, whatever they call it now. If you're on, Shopify, not Shopify, Squarespace and things like that. For me, it was more expensive to have my own website than just allow someone like Thinkific, Kajabi, Teachable to manage it and do all of that for me, so that all I have to do is just put things up for sale and write sales pages, and that's all I have to do. All right, guys, have a good week. I will see you next week, and have a great Monday.